Nigeria records more recoveries as COVID-19 toll nears 800 amid increased testing capacity. CBN to begin COVID-19 fund disbursements to SMEs and other businesses on Thursday. And Germany moves one step closer to begin human trial for COVID-19 vaccine. Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Let's begin with the good news. Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kano State has recovered from COVID-19 4 weeks after he tested positive for the infection. The governor disclosed this in a series of tweets on his official Twitter handle on Wednesday. According to the tweet, the governor has tested negative for the infection twice. El-Rufai thanked the people of the state for their support and prayers, all of which he says fast-tracked his recovery. El-Rufai was the first COVID-19 case in Kano State. Since he tested positive on March 29, the state has confirmed 8 more cases of infection, of which 5 have recovered and been discharged. Nigeria on Tuesday recorded its highest single-day COVID-19 cases after the Center for Disease Control (NCDC) announced 117 new cases, bringing the number of confirmed cases to 782. Of the new cases, Lagos, Abuja and Kano had the highest numbers, while Adamawa recorded its indexed COVID-19 case today. This means 26 Nigerian states, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, have been affected by the pandemic. The number of COVID-19 related fatalities have also risen from 22 to 25. But it's not all bad news. About 9 new persons have recovered from the illness and have been discharged. This brings the number of recovered persons in the country to 197. Health authorities have revealed that community transmission is the reason behind the surge in COVID-19 cases in the country. To flatten the curve of the pandemic, the Lagos State government has set up testing centers in all local government areas of the state. Our TV360 paid a visit to one of the sample collection center and will bring you details in this report. This is the COVID-19 testing center, or better still, sample collection center in the Ikeja local government area of Lagos State. Contrary to popular opinion, not everyone can gain access into this place. According to the NCDC, there are 3 categories for being tested for COVID-19. The first are persons with symptoms of the disease, including cough, fever and difficulty breathing. The second are returning travelers, especially those from high-risk countries. And the third are persons living in community with a high number of confirmed COVID-19 cases. But most of the people who have been going into this place are persons who have been handpicked by officials during the door-to-door search in Lagos State. Well, let's now go in and find out what the procedures are to get tested for COVID-19. There are so many procedures from what we found out to get tested for COVID-19 here. And the first actually is to get your hands clean. We know that COVID-19 can be transmitted through contact with infected persons, infected surfaces, and a whole lot of other things. So when people walk in here, the first thing they are required to do is to wash their hands, and that is supervised by an official who ensures that every part of the hands are clean and sterilized. After that, the people then take a seat. Now, social distancing is very much observed during this process. People are seated with spaces between them 2 meters at the least. After that, they wait for their turn. They get to speak to the official who take their data, or names, house address, date of birth, symptoms, what have they been observing in the past 2 weeks. With their data and contact details collected, the patients now proceed to the testing area right over here. Now, at this testing area, 2 things actually happen. First, they take a sit, after which their samples are collected. First sample is collected with a syringe which is inserted into the nostril of the patient, and after that they are given a cup in which they are supposed to deposit a mucus from the cough basically most of them have severe cough as a symptom. After that, they hand that back to the official, who then bag them and deposit it in a storage container, after which it's taken to the testing lab. The samples taken here today will be transported to the Infectious Disease Hospital Yaba for testing. According to the officials here, about 80 persons whose samples have been collected today will get their results in about 3 days. Now, if they test positive, the persons will be evacuated to the isolation center for treatment, and their families will be quarantined and tested for COVID-19. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Lagos. Well, the federal government has warned Nigerians against patronizing hawkers of products described as COVID-19 vaccines. Minister of Information Lai Mohammed gave the warning on Tuesday at the Presidential Task Force briefing in Abuja. He said the vaccines, yellow in color, being hawked in Kano State have not been certified by the federal government. Mohammed noted that there is currently no vaccine or treatment for COVID-19. He, however, urged Nigerians to adhere strictly to social distancing, wearing a face mask, ensure good personal hygiene, and prevent mass gatherings. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that smoking can increase one's chances of contracting COVID-19. In a tweet on its verified Twitter handle, the WHO on Wednesday warned that experts have said smokers with COVID-19 are likely to have more serious conditions that could lead to death. This is coming amid speculations on social media that hot weather and alcohol can help prevent COVID-19. Experts are advocating for public awareness as one of the ways to stop stigmatization against patients of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Speaking on TV360's flagship program, Digi360, public health physician Ayodele Oluwole dismissed fears that the disease is a death sentence. He also says the more positive messages about survivors and recoveries are reported, the better for efforts to contain the spread of the virus.
If we set the record straight about myths and facts, if you set the record straight, we will know that the COVID-19 has been found that it is the virus is mild in about 7 to 80% of infected persons, and then it's just in 20% that you might even have a severe case. If people know that, and that is not a death sentence, and that you can get treatment early and recover early, then people would try to have a different thing to it. Another thing that we can do is to, of course, engage social influencers. So many people are at home right now, and then so many people are glued on the internet. We can engage social influencers to put out, bright messages, and not focus on the grim messages, which are undeniable anyway. But they can focus on the survivors that we have. And that's very, very important. We can amplify voices of people who have lived the experience, who have survived.
Also supporting the doctor's advice, clinical psychologist David Ibokwe urged recovered COVID-19 patients to seek psychosocial support if need be to support their reintegration process.
We should honor persons who have survived. We should revere them per se. I was reading cases of people from other parts of the world, people explaining how it was as if they went through the valley of the shadow of death during this crisis. And for someone to have gone through all of those horrendous situations and then to now come back and start being stigmatized, I don't think that is good at all. Persons who have recovered from this may have dealt with things like depression, maybe anxiety. To come out of it now, you have to at least get to a position where you are comfortable to share with others the kind of experience that you have had over time. So I think for persons who have recovered, the most important thing they should do is to have core facts about this particular virus and evaluate themselves and their thought processes and try as much as possible to focus on the positive aspect when they are interacting with people.
As part of moves to contain the spread of the coronavirus pandemic, Kano State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has ordered the release of 29 inmates. This announcement was made on Tuesday by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Segun Ajiboye. He explained that it is in the exercise of power conferred on the Governor in Section 212 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended. The freed inmates are those who have severed portion of their sentences or served portions of their sentences after being duly sentenced to various terms of imprisonment. Akeredolu, according to the statement, believes that decongesting the Correctional Custodial Center will also help prevent the spread of COVID-19, not only amongst inmates but also the officials. The disbursement of the first tranche of the Central Bank of Nigeria's 50 billion naira targeted credit facility would begin on Thursday. The fund, which is being managed by the Nigerian Microfinance Bank, has received over 80,000 applications. The CBN had introduced a 50 billion naira targeted credit facility as a stimulus package to support households and micro, small and medium enterprises affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. In terms of limits, the loan amount would be determined based on the activity, cash flow and industry size of beneficiary, subject to a maximum of 25 million naira for SMEs. Households can access a maximum of 3 million naira, while working capital would be a maximum of 25% of the average of the previous 3 years' annual turnover. Germany has authorized its first clinical test of a vaccine for the novel coronavirus, greenlighting trials on human volunteers for an RNA vaccine developed by German firm BioNTech and US giant Pfizer. The trial, which was only the fourth to have been authorized worldwide, is a significant step in making a vaccine available as soon as possible. The trials will see 200 healthy volunteers aged between 18 and 55 years vaccinated with variants of the RNA vaccine, while the second phase could see the inclusion of volunteers who belong to high-risk groups. Neither PEI nor the developers specified when the trial will begin, though BioNTech claimed in a statement that it would be very soon. The Berlin Marathon will not go ahead as planned on September 27 because of a government ban on large-scale gatherings in Germany's capital due to the coronavirus pandemic. Organizers of the event announced on Tuesday that all events involving more than 5,000 people will be banned until October 24. Tens of thousands of runners take part in the event each year. Ethiopia's Kenensia Bekele won the race for the second time in 2019, missing out on the world record by just 2 seconds. We'll take a break here and return with more stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the immediate payment of the withheld salaries for the months of February and March to lecturers in the federal universities who have not registered on the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPIS. Chris Ngige, Minister of Labour and Employment, made the announcement on Tuesday through a statement issued by Emmanuel Nzomiwo, his media aide. The statement adds that the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning and the Accountants General of the Federation have been asked to urgently effect the payment to cushion the effect of the lockdown on lecturers and members of their family. Vice-Chancellors of universities have now been directed to confirm and forward the bank verification numbers of the affected lecturers to the Accountants General of the Federation for the payments to be effected. In January, the federal government ordered the stoppage of salaries for lecturers and all workers in tertiary institutions who were not enrolled on the IP scheme. Bayelsa State Governor Doye Diri has presented a budget of 242 billion naira to the State House of Assembly for the year 2020. Diri, who christened the document as Budget for Consolidation for Prosperity, noted that capital projects embarked by his administration will gulp 46.7 billion naira. He explained that following the sharp fall of crude oil, the state government will have to focus on alternative source of funding. Sectors with highest allocation include works and infrastructure, agriculture, health and education, and that's it. And the 2020 budget estimate is, however, less than that of 2019, which had 275.8 billion naira. That's a difference of 33 billion naira. The Nigerian government has reiterated the indefinite postponement of this year's West African Examination Council (WAEC) and the National Examination Council (NECO) due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Minister of State for Education Chukwuemeka Nwajuba announced this at the daily presidential task force briefing on COVID-19 in Abuja. Both examinations were slated for May and June 2020, but was earlier postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Nwajuba, however, said the federal government is working on options for schools to reopen. He noted that nobody can reopen schools until all efforts have been coordinated by the government. We'll take another break here to return with business stories. Don't go away.
Crude oil sank below $16 per barrel to its lowest since 1999 on Wednesday, before recovering slightly on the prospect of extra pledges to cut output, in addition to a pact by major producers to limit supplies. Brent crude, which fell 24% in the previous session, touched $15.98 a barrel on Wednesday, hitting its lowest since June 1999, but later recovered to $21.16, up $1.83. Meanwhile, U.S. West Texas crude was up $2.26 at $13.83 per barrel. Analysts say the price levels were now so low that they would make a big impact on the amount of oil companies could produce without facing deep losses. The prospect of supply outstripping demand for several months led to some of the most volatile oil trading in history on Monday and Tuesday. We'll take a pause here and return with Stock Market Review. After 2 days of bearish run, the bulls resumed their reign in midweek trading on the NSE today. Profit taking had dragged the market index down on Monday and Tuesday, but at the sound of the closing gong, the market saw a rebound of 0.66%, with investors recording gains as market capitalization closed at 11.872 trillion naira, and the banking and manufacturing stocks drove the market's marginal rise today, with WAPCO, Zenith Bank, BUA Cement and Guarantee Trust Bank making it to the top four. Guarantee, of course, making its first gain for the week today. And on the flip side, Guinness led the percentage laggards, declining by 6.40%, actually closing today at 19 naira from 20 naira 30 kobo in previous session. And stocks from the aviation and oil and gas sector also recorded decline in the value of their share prices. But in summary, sell-offs eased a bit as the value of trade summing up to 1 billion. That's from 2 billion naira in previous session, and that exchanged hands in 3,446 deals. Of course, the volume of shares volume of trade was also 186.2 million units of shares. Moving on now to international markets, FTSE is rising as UK inflation is also hits 1.5% actually, but we see Dow Jones also higher 1.61%, and this trading was impacted by gains in the shares of Intel and ExxonMobil. Nikkei closed in the red, 0.74% lower than its previous close.
Now believe this Koroti. You know, if you touch black man, if you like, gather the whole Niger, come together, make the cough. Nothing.
Which one you want?
Give me V&D.
I better get small pieces.
How much you want to give him?
Give me 200. Take your change now.
You know what your change is?
My people, this coronavirus, na serious matter. May una wash una hands regularly. Come use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. If you no see water, wash your hand. Make una sit down for house. You see this virus, so e no get leg. Now we dey waka kurukere. No waka around, make the virus for die. No forget, say the betterment of our people. Now for your handy day.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
Welcome back. Let's now move to the foreign scene. The UN Food Relief Agency has warned that hundreds of millions will starve to death as the world faces widespread famine due to the coronavirus pandemic. David Beasley, Executive Director of the World Food Programme, on Wednesday said more than 30 countries in the developing world could experience widespread famine, and in 10 of those countries there are already more than 1 million people on the brink of starvation. Warning world leaders to act quickly, Beasley urged them to bring forward about $2 billion of aid that has been pledged so that it can get to the front line as quickly as possible. The Nigerian Basketball Federation has confirmed reports that Brooklyn Nets guard Spencer Dinwiddie is interested in playing for Nigeria in the Olympics. Dinwiddie, who confirmed his intention to acquire a Nigerian passport to be eligible to play for the Tigers at the 2020 Olympics game built for next year, will now join the Nigeria roster under Mike Brown. The Federation, on its Twitter handle on Tuesday, confirmed that the Nigerian American could feature for the country at the next Olympics. The 27-year-old has been averaging 20.6 points, 6.8 assists and 2.4 rebounds this season. Dinwiddie started 49 of 64 games for Brooklyn this season. And that's it on News Now. Many thanks for joining us. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Bye for now.